made a mistake, didn't realize the camera wasn't rolling. I was going to go over doing an oil change and a serpentine belt today. I got under there, I started with the oil change, pulled the drain plug out, and made a discovery about the oil only to realize the camera wasn't rolling. So I'll discuss with you the process of putting it all back together and how it's basically the same thing as taking it out when it comes to the drain plug and all. Oil is not super pleasant looking in here. Another indicator of how long this thing's definitely been sitting. It's really dark and much thicker than it should be. I probably should have warmed it up, but hindsight's 2020. It's not flowing out the quickest, so it's taking a little bit longer than expected. So I'll give you all a quick view of that, and then we'll jump underneath and talk about putting everything back together and replacing this oil filter as well. All right, so right up here, and your oil pan will be different, but as you can see where it's dripping from there, there is a drain plug that you will pull out. It's gonna have to go back in. I'm gonna go ahead and screw mine in just a second here, but I made a bit of a mess I'm gonna have to deal with. Don't worry, these are metal plates. It's not going in my yard. So let me see if I can get this at an angle where you can see what I'm doing while I do it. Starting with trying to get as much of this mess up. This oil is horrible. I'll show you how and why in just a moment. Can you hand me the drain plug from up there? So we're just going to insert our drain plug. This is something you really don't want to cross thread. So make sure it goes in nice and smooth pretty much all the way with your fingers. Sorry, I wasn't even showing you where I was putting it in. Just put it in there. You're going to tighten it almost all the way down exclusively with your fingers. And then you're just going to make it snug. There is usually a torque rating. You should check your vehicle's owner's manual for that, because I don't know your vehicle's torque rating for this. I am not some kind of officially trained person in this field as far as that goes. I'm just going to take and just make it snug like that. Nothing crazy. I didn't try to pull it any further than what it wanted to go. That's it. That way it can't fall back out on me or anything. Now, we're going to go topside and we'll continue discussing this in just a second. Next thing's next. We're going to deal with that right there. Apparently my camera's not going to focus on the right spot. Down there. Right there. Yeah, there it is. That is the oil filter. It seems to want to give me some trouble, so I'm going to see if I can grab a pair of channel locks and we'll deal with it in just a moment. Whenever you're draining oil, taking off the cap off the top will help it drain better. So I can't find a proper oil filter removal tool, so we're using unconventional methods to get this thing out today. I got a lovely screwdriver and a hammer here, and I'm just going to poke a hole in it using the screwdriver and then use the hammer to I'm going to use the hammer to knock the screwdriver into it, and then I'll use the screwdriver to break it free because it's too tight to actually twist off. So we'll just without breaking anything, preferably. And now that she's broken free, I can take the screwdriver out. That now needs to be thoroughly cleaned. Now that that is broken free, I can make a big mess taking this the rest of the way off. Not my favorite way to do that, but it's what I have available to me. As I make a huge mess. No, stop. Oh, I got it everywhere. I did really well. I got so far without getting it all over my hands. And then I dropped the oil filter. Yeah, that oil is disgusting. Left my hand all sticky. That's not a good sign. Well, thankfully we're putting in a new filter. I'll have to do more than one oil change on this later on. So, yeah. This will need a second one to clean out and replace the filter and put fresh oil in again one more time so that it'll be fresh and not cause issues later on. But the oil's not in the worst state it could have been in. I'm happy with it. So, we have the new filter. Going to be working in the same space, but we need to use our new oil on our new filter. I'm going to take and open this fresh oil. Oh, great. I get to fiddle with this for everyone to see that I suck at peeling these stupid things off. All right, we're going to the tried and true method of I just poke a hole in it and call it good enough. There, see, good enough. Set that where it won't blow away. Now I'm going to take, I want a little bit of that fresh oil. The oil filter that is actually pre-lubricated. That's a new one for me. Okay, well, normally the gaskets aren't, but what you want to do, and it helps with sealing, is usually put a little bit of that fresh oil, or even the old oil usually works. I don't want to use the old oil out of this. It's really gross and really bad. And you're just going to lubricate that gasket. Makes it easier for putting it on and also helps with, once it sets, it seals better. It just keeps anything from leaking or being gross or just awful in general. I will now take this, stick it down there. Now I'm not going to make it any tighter than hand tight. That is it. You don't want to risk these A, getting stuck. It makes for a horrible time, and B, you just shouldn't make it more than hand tight. I don't know how better to put that. Just gonna spin it until I find the threads. And then it should spin on real easy. You shouldn't be fighting it. If you're fighting it, you're cross-threading it. Cross-threading it means it's ruined if you force it all the way down. And I'm just gonna go hand tight till I can't twist it. And that's it. Books and things like that say hand tight and then a quarter turn, things like that. I will forever and ever live by hand tight and you stop. It is just, that works well without any issues. Plus, again, I don't have the right tools to do it, and I'd rather not damage my oil filter. So just making sure that I have it nice and snug by hand. With the end that isn't covered in oil. And now that should be a-okay, no issues. Now, from here comes the fun part. Not making a mess by spilling oil everywhere, because I don't know where my funnel was at. So let's see if I'm good today or bad today at this. Drain plugs in, oil filters on. You know what? No, we'll see if I can find my funnel real quick. I have found my funnel. My lovely, wonderful funnel. I like this funnel a lot. I'm not even kidding. This funnel is so great. The Jeep calls for 6 quarts. Okay, that's just the sound of it running into the engine. Got it. That's fine. That was a weird noise. that jug is gone. I've got one more jug, and that'll fill it. Just using 1 quart out of it, and then I'll keep the rest as extra. Before I go doing that though, just in case I didn't quite get everything out of the system, so I can see where it sits, roughly, not perfectly, but roughly. I'm just gonna take a quick dipstick measurement. And it kind of looks overfilled right now. So I'm not gonna add any more. Overfilling is bad. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure why. I would have to look it up here in a moment. Yeah, it looks overfilled right now, but that might be because it's still settling. Might need time. So I'm just gonna wait, maybe run it a little while, and then refill it again, and then double check it after it's ran for about 20 minutes or so. We can actually move on to something else for a little bit while we wait for it to settle. I have something else that can be done. Okay, so I actually have a replacement intake setup to go on here. It's a new cold air intake. It's nothing super fancy, but it's going to replace the whole air box and everything. So we'll start by going ahead and getting this disassembled, and I'll show you why I'm replacing this. I could have just done the filter, but I didn't want to. I'll just be honest on that front. So we'll start here, where this is already unsnapped. Nice and easy. These just unclip off the sides here, if I can ever get them to agree with me. Oh dear. There we go. There's one on the back here. There's supposed to be one on the front, but it's broken and missing, and I don't really care. That's garbage. Here's the filter that has been in this car for like however long, falling apart, and also turned into some animal's nest at some point. Isn't it lovely? Also trash. And then the aforementioned nest. If anyone has any clue what the heck kind of nest this is, go ahead and say so in the comments. I would guess like squirrel or something. Best I got though. So, there is a clearly defined bolt there, and I'm going to guess that I need to dig around in the muck over on this side from the nest, and there will be another bolt there for me to unbolt and remove this lower portion of the housing. Thinking that's going to be somewhere up in here. I'll show you in a moment. Let's start getting this first one out. Not a 10, bigger than a 10. Uh-oh. Might not have the necessary one for this. Okay, cool. Please be the 14. Not the 14 either. Uh-oh. Might need to go find my 13. I have a bit of a scattered tool collection right this moment. Okay. Might be doing this with a different set of tools real quick because I don't feel like digging around for a 13 forever. We're going to upgrade to the open-ended ratchet set and hope that I can get a 13 down in there. If it even is a 13 at this rate. It's a standard, then it'll be real easy. I have standards for days. Oh, lovely. 13 fits concerningly well. Alright then, 13 it is. Let's see if I can get this down in there. Or if I'm going to be playing find the adjacent standard and hoping that it'll work instead. Quick pick, 12. Half inch. Not 12, why'd I try to say 12? 9/16 for the win. Too big. Okay. Lovely. I'm just stupid. There's my 13. Hey, look at that. It fits. See if my extension's long enough now to make this work. Sure is. Okay, one nut. And one bolt. And something else is holding this in. Another bolt. All right, 2 bolts and a nut. All removed. Something made a nest in there. Oh well. All right, got to do a little bit of investigating, but that whole bear box, the new cold air intake stuff should just bolt right in here. We're gonna find out though, together. I may even do the scary thing of reading instructions. I'm gonna have to do that scary thing of reading instructions. Because it clearly goes, aha. Something like that, or is it this way? Definitely this way. But some details are fuzzy. Let's have a look at the instructions because for once I don't feel like just playing make it fit and calling it a day. Okay, so a little bit off camera research. Going over garbage instructions that don't quite explain well enough. We're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off, sort of-ish, and just go ahead and install this. We need to take and put this on here and cut it down to size real quick. It's nothing crazy, nothing too rough, just going to take a quick minute to do it. So, once we get all this cut to size, we'll go to the next part. I'll be right back one more time. Okay, a quick cut later. A warning for everyone else who would probably appreciate it. There's a metal core inside of here. If you use a knife that you don't necessarily want damaged, I would suggest, switching to a different knife. I don't care about my knife blade, but it be what it be. So, the way this goes in is that I need to bolt this in here, and then I have no idea what I'm doing with the bottom end down there, but it's going to be a lot easier to start here, move on to that. Another thing is, I have this. People suggest to go ahead and do this before you go installing the whole thing. So I will go ahead and start by doing that. You'll take this right here. You have a adapter for it. It's going to be a little snug. Might be fun to put on once I get it in there, but cross that bridge in just a second. And then you have these big band clamps to go on as well. So all you're going to do is just slide this through at the small end. Make sure you've got your clamp over this, that you don't have to come back with it later. And then just going to snug this on. Now just take and tighten this band clamp up real quick. I just want to take and make this somewhat snug, nothing crazy, just so that it will hold it in place. It appears I've got the room to wiggle this around a bit because it's floating separately, more or less. And then I'll take and put the filter element itself on, which is intended just to go around that big plastic piece that we were just messing with. It goes on pretty easily. Makes life easy, pleasant, easy. I like it. Except for the part where I now have to tighten this darn thing. And I have the wrong size. That might not help. Looks like it might be a 7 or something like that. Let me see. I have a 7 right back here. Let's test it, and it might make it a little easier because it's a deep well. No. You need to stay on there. You need to stay on there. And you need to go on here. Oh, lovely. I was going to say lovely. It decided that I wasn't allowed to say lovely. Alright, so I'm going to make this a little bit more difficult for myself, but easier in the end. And just go ahead and get this band clamp not tight, but more snug than what it is around this filter elements connection. Alright. Attempt number 2 at putting this stupid thing on. Can I please just have a lovely, easy time doing this? I would greatly appreciate that. No, you're going to be a piece of garbage and make me have to potentially grab a flat or a Phillips head and do this because you don't want to actually let me do the thingy that I have to do. Okay, we're grabbing a Phillips head. This is stupid. Un momento. Okay, un momento has passed. I am ready to screw this thing together. Yeah, fight me now. Ha ha! Victory. It tastes so salty. Like sweat and tears. Okay. Filter element is not coming out anytime soon. Awesome. So that's in. Now we will move back to one of the original things we were dealing with, which was this core support bolt. It's right over here. If you're looking at your Jeep and you happen to be looking for what you're after, if you are looking at your core support, I think you can see these 2 bolts on the camera right now. Right between these 2 bolts is a core support bolt right here. You're just going to take and thread this in here. If you're not working on Jeep, this one's not quite the one for you. Unless you just enjoy. Then please, hang out. Drop a like, a follow, stuff like that. I appreciate the support. If you would appreciate giving it. Other thing is, I don't know if this fits quite as they informed me it did. Because this looks like it fits precisely none. I'm just going to get this bolt right here to a point of not snuggish even, really, to be honest. Because I have another one to put in below. One of those 13 millimeters I took out earlier to remove the airbox itself. Your OEM airbox. So I'm just going to finagle this in a way that Gets it where I need this hole to be. I hope, eventually, potentially, maybe possibly. Okay. Just gonna see about just going ahead and grabbing that and trying to force it all in, but this thing's still not quite lined up in a way that will make that work. But it might be now. I need a longer extension. Excuse me for a moment while I grab a longer extension. I don't know what I just knocked down, but I probably regret the fact that I knocked it down. Odds are that I need it more than I want to admit. I guess I have to get to stack these extensions. Even better. My new favorite thing today. Make everything a little more difficult than it should be. Cool. Now that that's in place, I can take and snug this 10 mil down. Someone else said it should be an 8 mil. Mine's a 10 mil. So, good luck to you for whatever you might have, my friend. Yep, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't knock something else down. And we'll move on. Because that's what someone in denial does. Here soon, we'll have a cold air intake. Yay! Please, pretend like I'm not an idiot for like 30 seconds. I promise it's worth your time. Put this one on here. And this one just gotta slide on here. Preferably without making my life even more difficult. I'll make it as loose as it wants to be if that's what'll make it happy. Build race cars, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Well, that's what they said. What they didn't tell you about was the hours spent on something that should be a 15-minute job, talking to yourself like a freaking crazy man. Of course, no, wouldn't be easy. It's got to be the short one. Okay, well, that's fine. I can work with the short one. Short one's fine. I feel like these clamps aren't small enough. Something tells me these clamps aren't small enough. Just have that feeling, you know? Like something's not going quite the way I wanted it to, or needed it to. There's a hole in the tote. Camera is rolling.
I know.
Okay.
That's why I put a shirt on.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know there was a hole in the bottom of the tote. An intentional hole at that. It's just an actual circle. On the one end. It's dark, but no metal. Just bubbles.
Yep. Feels a little bit like syrup or honey.
I was gonna say, it feels like syrup to me. Best descriptor I could come up with.
It's a little thicker than oil. That's how it feels to me.
Well, then most of the oils we use, at least.
What went in this?
Not anything like that. Standard 5W30.
You didn't want to bump it up?
Not gonna be hard on it. Yes. All right, cold air intake installed. That's all I have for the video. Oil's changed. Cold air intake is installed with aftermarket box setup. I'll check fitment with the hood here in just a moment. Hopefully it fits properly with the hood. If it doesn't, I'll figure something out, that's for sure. I think I've got some room that I can play with it though, so we'll see what happens. Go ahead and do cleanup, and we'll see y'all later.